How have the Starship Troopers actors changed since we first saw them? Let's compare them then and now. First, let's talk about Michael Ironside, who played the tough and iconic Jean Roschak. At 75 years old now, he was just 48 when he shot the film. Here's a little-known fact about Ironside. Before filming, he took a private trip to meet with real military officers to make sure his character would feel authentic. On set, he was known for his intense dedication to the role, even rehearsing his lines while undergoing full makeup and prosthetics. One memorable moment was when he was supposed to give a speech during the boot camp scenes, and despite the exhaustion from all the action, Ironside delivered it without missing a beat, showing the crew he truly embodied the sergeant's fierce persona. Today, he's still an active actor and frequently lends his voice to animated series and video games.
Moving out, there's been a distress call from General Owen on Planet B, so get your shit wired and report in 10 minutes.
Next, we have Clancy Brown as the unforgettable SGT, Zim. At 66 now, he was 39 when he became the drill sergeant from Hell. Brown didn't just play Zim, he lived the role. He insisted on doing his own stunts, including the intense military training sessions, even when they were supposed to be simulated. Here's something surprising. While filming, Brown had to wear a full military uniform for long hours, which led to some unintentional comedy. The boots he wore were so stiff that he often had to shuffle around like a penguin in between takes. Another fun tidbit: during a critical scene, when his character fires a weapon, Brown was so invested in the shot that he accidentally fired it too early, making everyone jump. These days, he continues his career with prominent roles in The Mandalorian and animated films.
Thank you, sir. That would be private, sir.
Now let's talk about Jake Busey, who played the mischievous Ace Levy. At 53 years old now, Busey was just 27 when he starred in Starship Troopers. A lesser-known fact about Jake is that he's a huge fan of military history, and while filming, he used his own personal knowledge to add details to the character's background. Busey also wasn't afraid to push himself physically during the more intense action scenes, often performing stunts that the production team had originally reserved for the professional stunt actors. One unforgettable moment was when Jake had to jump from a high platform for a scene. It wasn't scripted, but he did it anyway, leading to a minor injury. Today, Jake has become a staple in the sci-fi genre, most recently appearing in Stranger Things.
So I hear you're Lieutenant. Real nutbuster.
Seth Gilliam, who portrayed Sugar Watkins, was 28 during the filming of Starship Troopers, and is 55 today. Did you know that? Seth was actually so dedicated to looking like a soldier that he insisted on staying in character, even when the cameras weren't rolling. He also had to learn some basic combat tactics and weapons handling before filming, which gave him a lot of respect for the military training the characters went through. But here's the kicker: Seth nearly choked during a scene where his character was supposed to be running and shooting at the same time. He kept tripping over his words while running. After a few takes, they just kept the original clip. These days, Seth is known for his roles in The Walking Dead and other high-octane dramas.
Ain't much to look at after you scrape them off your boot.
Neil Patrick Harris played Carl Jenkins, and he was just 23 at the time. Now 50, Neil was still new to big-budget action films when he took on the role. But one of the most surprising things about him is that he actually worked with a military advisor to get the tone of his character just right. It wasn't just about acting cool in a uniform. It was about portraying the mental toughness that military characters often have. Another behind-the-scenes tidbit: Neil was notorious for forgetting his lines while in the cockpit. During flight scenes, he would often improvise in a way that made the crew laugh, but they never let him go off script. Today, Neil is a Broadway star and a prolific actor in both TV and film.
It's a fray!
Let's move on to Patrick Muldoon, who played the suave Xander Barkalow. At 28 years old during filming, Patrick is now 55, but he was already a heartthrob on set. A fun little fact: during one of the final scenes, Patrick actually broke character on purpose to help his co-star, Denise Richards, who had trouble staying focused during an intense moment. But it wasn't all easy for him. He had a particularly hard time with the space combat scenes. The team had to film certain sequences in low gravity, and Patrick was so bad at it that he had to be retrained between takes. These days, Patrick still works in TV, landing roles in some of the biggest soap operas and dramas.
My God. How could this happen?
Then there's Dina Meyer, who played the brave Dizzy Flores. At 56 now, She was 29 during the making of Starship Troopers. Dina's no-nonsense approach to her role was not just for show. She spent weeks in military boot camps to prepare for the physically demanding scenes. One interesting fact about Dina is that she was one of the only actors who didn't to use a stunt double for some of the more difficult combat scenes. At one point, she was so invested in the role that she accidentally injured herself during a rehearsal. Another surprising fact, Dina's iconic battle scenes were filmed at night, which meant dealing with extremely cold temperatures. Nowadays, Dena Meyer continues to make waves in TV, with recent roles in Ray Donovan and other crime dramas.
Waved in besides Big K.
Casper Van Dien played the heroic Johnny Rico, now 55 years old. He was just 28 during the filming of the movie, while he was primarily known for his role in Starship Troopers. A lesser-known fact is that Casper was actually a huge fan of the genre, long before he became a part of it. During the filming of the combat scenes, he was injured more than once, particularly during the famous fight with the bugs. He famously tried to convince the directors to let him keep some of the insect props as souvenirs, but they were quickly taken away for safety reasons. These days, Casper is still active, voicing many animated characters and starring in both film and TV projects.
We are under attack, sir. We need retrieval now.
Rue McClanahan played the quirky biology teacher in a very memorable role. At the time of filming, Rue was 66 years old, and she sadly passed away in 2010. What many don't know is that she was already an acting legend before joining Starship Troopers. She had a funny encounter during the shooting of her scene, when the bug props they used were so realistic that she had to resist the urge to run away from them. Her character's role wasn't huge, but Rue's hilarious take on the biology teacher left a lasting impression. Rue had always been known for being the calm in the storm on set. Even in the chaos of intense bug attack scenes, she remained composed and fully in character. Finally, Denise Richards, who played Carmen Ibanez, was just 24 at the time and is now 54. A lot of people don't know that. Denise didn't know how to fly before the movie, so she had to take flying lessons to prepare for the scenes involving spacecraft piloting. She was really nervous before her first flight, but she did it, earning the respect of her co-stars. An interesting fact is that she performed her own stunts for many of the scenes, especially the more dangerous ones, even when they involved simulated explosions. Today, Denise is still acting and also keeping busy with family and entrepreneurial ventures.
Thought we were smarter than the bugs.